Hi everyone, in this video we will go over the VM appliance that we have set up for use within VirtualBox. This appliance has already been set up with the networking required and the NS3 simulator that you will need for this class. If you have seen the other video that we have shared, that video relates to how a VM is set up, how it has details on how VirtualBox can be downloaded and how you put a VM app on it and how you set up networking on it. So if you have seen that video, you would know that this is an Ubuntu 18.4 LTS virtual machine and it has been set up with bridge networking. What that means is that our virtual machine or guest operating system, guest OS as it is called, can now communicate with other machines on our network and other machines can communicate with this. So in that video we talk about how you can SSH into this machine from other machines in your network and how you can SSH into other machines. This might be relevant later on in the course. So the machine that the virtual machine appliance that I have set up, it's this one called CPSE 8510. I have provisioned it with 4 GB of RAM and 100 GB of storage, but depending on your machine specifications, you can change the RAM to anything greater than 2 GB, I would say, and storage to anything greater than 20 GB, because you should keep in mind that the storage taken up with what's already installed, so NS3 and its dependencies, is already almost 10 GBs. So make sure you leave enough storage, you provision enough storage for you to be able to run this machine throughout the semester. The exported appliance that will be shared with you, and hopefully by now you should be able to see it either on Canvas or on the website, will be a file with a .ova extension. To import this file, this is what you do. You open your VirtualBox Manager, you go to File, click Import Appliance. This should open a dialog box and the little folder icon on the side, if you click on it, it will take you to, mine by default goes to Documents, and it will look for all the files that are compatible or of the extension OVA or OVF that can be used as VirtualBox appliances. So this is what will exactly be shared with you. If I click on that and click on Open, I am telling VirtualBox that this is the appliance I would like to import. When I click on Next now, I have to go through some appliance settings, make sure everything looks okay, and then I can click on Import. I will not be doing that because I already have this machine set up, but once you do that series of steps, you should be able to see this machine. Initially it will say powered off, but once you start it, this is what you should see. So let's log in. The username and password for this machine is CPSE 8510, all lowercase. If you forget, just ask me and I will tell you again. Now let's see how to navigate to NS3 within this machine. If you're interested in knowing details of how networking is set up, where networking is set up, some general level basics, look at the other video for this. In this we would only be navigating to NS3, so you go to Terminal and here's our terminal. We are able to ping in and out of this machine. This machine has connectivity, we have established all that at the top level, and this is exactly the machine you should be seeing, so you will see everything that's on the screen, hopefully. You go into NS3. So there's a couple of different ways of installing NS3. If you are interested in how to install NS3, or if you just generally would like to learn more about it, this is the website where you go. It's nsnam.org, and then there's a wiki in there about how to install NS3. So it's got details of NS3 installations for different platforms, different ways of installation, and then building and validating. So it's good to know all this stuff, even though you already have this installed on the VM. Okay, so I used a method of installation where you use a tarball and go from there and install from there. So I used this .tar extension and got this NS all-in-one from it. We use NS3 version, NS3.30. If you're looking out there and you come across NS3 dev and you think about and you are wondering what the difference between the two is, NS3.30 is the stable release of NS3 version 30, and NS3 dev is the developer's release. So new bugs that get fixed and that get updated, those will all be in NS3 dev. The reason we use NS3.30 is so we know that everyone's kind of using the same system, and if two people see different results, we can rule out that system changes are any part of why we might be seeing something like that. So in NS all-in-one, you will see a bunch of different things. For now, build.py is is a Python script that we use to build the NS3 system after installing. For now, you don't need to be concerned with most of them. The one thing we need to know is this folder that we go into, the NS3.30. This is where our software is, and in here I will talk about two things for now, WAF and Scratch. But before that, let me say this one thing. Except for the NS3.30, the only other thing that you might need from all of this stuff is the NetAnim, which is basically a utility that you could use if you want to visualize what you're simulating. So let's say I was simulating 10 devices sending pings to each other. I could see an animation of 10 devices sending that and broadcasting and receiving stuff in NetAnim, but I think we'll get to it later if we need to use it. So for now, let's look in NS3.30. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in this. The first thing you would want to look in where the examples are to see how NS3 works is go into examples, tutorial. There's a list of files in here, everything with the .cc that talks about the code that goes in simple simulations. So like first.cc talks about how to create two different nodes or devices, put a simple UDP echo application on it that NS3 already comes with, so you don't need to write the UDP echo application, you just need to know how to put it on your devices, and then have one device send an echo message to the other device and receive a reply back. So for most people, and for most people who start out with NS3, you use the code provided in examples and kind of build what you need to get on top of the code that's already there. So today we are going to look at first.cc, not in so much detail, but in how we would run first.cc. So that brings me to the two things I said I wanted to discuss. One is WAF and the other one is Scratch. So WAF, which is WAF, is the build system that NS3 uses to compile source code. So it's just like how you would use make, but WAF is Python based and that's what NS3 uses, and apparently it's much simpler than using make. So if I wanted to run first.cc, then what I would do is, I would do WAF run, and this is the path to first.cc. So I'd go into examples, tutorial first, and You should note that I'm not putting the extension in here, so I'm not running it like first.cc, but just say first and WAF would know from that. So I click enter and this runs it. So you can see that the code executed at time 2 seconds into the simulation. One of the nodes we have created that we call a client, it sent 1024 bytes to another to the other machine that we call the server. The server received these bytes and the server sent the same packet back to the client and the client received them. So that's simply what we were simulating for this example. Now this, in examples, the code that you look in, you can modify it there, but better practice is to use the Scratch directory that's provided to you. So NS3 comes with a Scratch directory in which I have copied first.cc. So let's say the code I want to modify and build upon is first.cc. I can copy it from examples tutorial first into the Scratch directory like I did here, and now I modify it. So what this does is it creates a modified version of the code without changing the original source file, which you might need to refer to later. And now all you need to do is when you run is just change the path to Scratch and it should run the same thing again. So this is the, and if you wanted to write brand new code, that's what you would do too. Your code would, the simplest way to run new code is put it in your Scratch directory and run that code. And if your code produces any output files, they would be stored in this top level NS330 directory. So like this code produces a bunch of text files. What these do is they are like if you were imagine running the code on two actual machines and not in a simulation. If you wanted to look at the TCP dump logs or any of the lower level logs on those two machines, you can have let your NS3 code know that those are the logs you would like to have access to and save them, and it saves it for you. And this is really neat in understanding lower level statistics and stuff that you want to explore further within the code. So that's something, that's the basic level first thing that you should know about NS3, and you should try to go into examples and see what kind of examples and what kind of things NS3 can help you do. So in examples there's a whole lot of categories that NS3 can help you with. There's examples related to routing, sockets, TCP, traffic control, etc. The simplest set of source code and files that you should use are in tutorial, and they're very well explained on the NS3 website as well. So if you go into tutorial and you see first.cc, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then you go into that NS3 location that I told you about earlier, the NS3 documentation. So there's all these details of what first.cc does, second.cc does. So this kind of helps you understand. So if you can copy the URL from here, let me know if you can't do that, so I can then share that URL with the class later. But you should read this and look at the code and try to run it. You can even try to modify the code, so instead of 1 packet you send 2 packets or 3 packets or 10 packets and see how that behaves. One other place I want to point you to is this other place in the NS3 documentation, which is a very helpful manual of everything that NS3 does and the general information about its capabilities. So personally for me, reading chapter 3 and chapter 4 in here has really helped my understanding of NS3 from when I first started doing this. I think that's all about NS3 that I wanted to share in this video. One last thing I would say is that there's a lot of NS3 dependencies have already been installed on this machine. So all of NS3 dependencies, a lot of which are things you would need on a new machine anyway. So TCP dump, C++ and Python packages, Valgrind and Vim packages are already installed. But as you work with this more and you find yourself needing more stuff, the simple way to install is to use the apt-get method. And that's all I wanted to discuss today. Thank you very much.